Hello there. I am back. I'm still trying to figure out when or how I can do this the best way, but, well, despite me intending to probably stream a little later, well, this time at least, that wasn't voluntary. I was kind of intensely delayed. Still, I'm here now, and that's exactly what I can work with. So, let me just start getting things ready. After all, doesn't exactly, well, won't exactly be helpful if I don't have anything to show for. So, I'll capture, yeah, I believe, yeah. And there we have the game. Just a moment, I believe I may need to slightly adjust. Yeah, I believe that could be worthwhile. So, and there it is. So yeah, last time I streamed, I jumped onto the 1.0 release of Palworld, even though I may continue with a bit of that, or maybe something else entirely, it just feels wrong to not at least close in, well, any form of case prior to starting anything else, and so that's exactly what I want to do. Continue with case 4 in order to complete it finally, and of course try to work on more, hopefully at least. I still intend to completely do this game on stream after all, but yeah, in order to do so, at first I'll need to continue. So, time to do that. Also, I noticed I really need to work on my voice acting, both for my throat and to even have that discernible. Kind of surprising to me how much the way I myself hear my voice differs from what gets picked up. And of course, get a bit more energetic. Can't continue with sounding like a flat tire. But for now, let's talk. Though, did I need to talk to Kay or did I need to talk to Gamchu? I believe Kay just appeared, so let's try talking with her. Now then, Kay. She's like a stray cat. I wonder if I should feed her something. Well, she lost that Swiss roll, so let's try it.
Take that!
Literally take that. Okay. I promise to give you... I promise to give this to you if you calm down. Oh, a Swiss roll. It really belongs to you, though, doesn't it? Yeah, I was saving it for Daddy. Oh my. Your father, he's... Ah, don't you dare say another word, pal. She doesn't know yet. Also, maybe if I really want to go all out with my voice, maybe I should. Yeah, I'm almost completely puking if I do that, so I guess I have a lot still to learn. Well, I definitely have a lot to learn when it comes to this, especially for audio balancing. Yeah, I'll continue trying at least. Thanks for watching out for me, Gummy. But I already know about Daddy. I overheard the guards talking. About how he's not here anymore. I'm sorry. I don't. I'm sorry. I couldn't protect him. Okay. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna. Yep, she's crying. Though, yeah. I guess we can all get that. It's alright. Let it all out. Your father just passed away after all. I myself was also involved in a case like this court. Yeah. What's wrong with my tongue? Yeah. I myself was also involved in a case at this courthouse when I was a young child. In any case, a case in which my father, who was a defense attorney, passed away. All of my dreams of becoming a lawyer were crushed into fine ash on that nightmarish day. Even now, the wound festers deep in the depths of my soul. Ever since that incident, I dedicated myself to locking away every criminal I can. And now, to have this happen in front of me, this child, I feel a certain shared fate, a common bond between us. Miles Edgeworth, what sort of gentleman are you? Are you going to just stand there and watch a lady cry? You're right. Sorry about that. Okay. Here. How about we use the this handkerchief here and dry your little eyes. My cravat! Don't blow your nose on that! I feel better now. Thanks. Well, let's hope that thing can be cleaned with anything, well, more convenient than dry cleaning. Okay. Are you going to be alright? Yep. I'm already alright. Somehow, I highly doubt that, but I'm not going to push it. I promised Daddy I'd never cry in front of strangers. And you're a good kid, aren't you, Kay? You always keep your promises, right? That's right. Even if I can't see Daddy anymore, I'm still going to keep all my promises. You're a very brave girl, Kay. You're a very good child for keeping the promises you made to your papa. I'll even testify that you didn't cry, just for you. Thank you very much, lady. It's nothing. I'm only telling the truth after all. It would appear that because of that because the father was a respected prosecutor, Francesca is sympathetic to Kay's feelings. Your father? Kay, what kind of person was your father? Daddy was a hero of justice. His job was to catch all the bad people in the world. So, to you, a prosecutor is a hero of justice, huh? I suppose we are in a sense, as we are the ones who seek guilty verdicts of our criminals. Plus, you know what? Whenever I came into the courthouse, Daddy would buy me my absolute favorite treat, Swiss rolls. Oh. I wanna be a hero of justice someday, just like Daddy. So I've been working really hard. I see. And what have you been working hard on? I've been working hard to keep all the promises Daddy and I made together. A promise notebook. May I take a look inside, Kay? Sure, okay. It appears to be an exchange diary of sorts between father and daughter. Mr. Faraday's writing conveys a sense of the kind of man he was. This little notebook just might come in handy later. The promised notebook has been jotted down. A curious little thing indeed. Well, we'll see how it will severely inconvenience my way of thinking straight, and of course inconvenience whoever may be responsible for what happened today. Also that. Well, thank you for showing it to me, Kay. I hope you continue to work hard and become a hero just like your father. I'm gonna try. Hey, Kay. So, I'm a detective that catches bad people, right? That makes me a hero too. Yeah, you're real cool too, Gummy. Yeah, aren't I, Kay? What is with the two of them? I had down verdicts of justice, so that makes me hero too. Yes, in thanks to your oh so heroic testimony, you almost painted that detective as a vile criminal and sent him off to jail. I'm really sorry about that. Gummy's not a bad man, okay? That poor judge. He's being treated like a vile criminal rather than a hero of justice. It appears that you and Detective Gumshoe are good friends, Kay. Yeah, we're friends. In that case, would you mind telling me a little more about him? Well, weather may not be as bad as it was, but I still get thirsty far too often. Let's hope all that water won't have consequences. There are better consequences and being hydrated than consequences and not being hydrated. Usually, those consequences are a lot worse. Okay, back to business. So, the Gumshoe. So, I take it that you ran into Detective Gumshoe earlier? Yep. I was on my way to see Daddy when I saw Gummy standing there. He was standing in the hallway, staring really hard at the vending machine, so I said hi. And when was this? Before everything got crazy. How long were you, the two of you together? We only talked for a little while. And then we went our own ways. That's right, pal. Kay and I only talked a little while, and that's it. Oh, which means we have now confirmed that Kay was in the hallway during the recess, isn't that right? Hey, you got me. I told you to stop picking on Gummy, mister. Very well then. I'll just have to speak with the good detective in private later. So, the Swiss rolls. You're the one who bought this pack of Swiss rolls, Kay. I mean, well, I didn't have enough money. And I somehow made $1 out of the pennies and quarters I had. That still wasn't enough, so I really wanted one. Come to think of it, she did come and ask me to exchange a handful of change for $1. And that's when you came and asked me to change your money, correct? Yeah. Thanks a bunch for doing that, mister. Sure. But let me ask you, even with that $1, you still didn't have enough, correct? Well, that's why. Hey, if you bully Kay anymore, I'm gonna have to arrest you, pal. Need I remind you that you are the one already under arrest? And another swing, and another ouch from Gumshoe. Yeah. I wonder. For some reason, well, doesn't really feel like I'm doing too much when it comes to Ace Attorney in terms of my narration, and well, all the, in terms of commentary I can provide, but on the other hand, it feels like this is an excellent training for me to speak freely. So, I will continue, I will get better, and I will do something, well, worthwhile with all that I'm learning right now. But, yeah, I shouldn't delay here. I sense that Kay's going to be less forthcoming with this question. Sorry about your roughly thing. Yes, well, now that it's positively drenched in your nasal mucus, don't worry, I have a spare. So here, you can have this one. Well, that's also that is certainly a way to deal with this. But Daddy said, never take things from a stranger. It's one of those promises you made in your promise notebook, correct? Yeah, let's see. It's right here on this page. Case promises to Daddy, never take things from a stranger and never go anywhere with a stranger. Alright then, I'm not giving this to you, I'm merely allowing you to borrow it. You take it home, you can take it home, wash it nice and clean, and then give it back to me next time we meet. Okay, Daddy never said I couldn't borrow things from strangers. Honestly, that looked like Edgeworth just promised her she could borrow it, then when she held up her hand, he simply put it back on. Which is honestly hilarious, but most certainly not that what Vess was trying to convey. Well, now then, Detective Gumshoe. Uh-oh. I believe it's now crystal clear that you were with little Kay in that hallway. Oh. I told you to stop being mean to Gummy! Hold it. Miles Edgeworth, there's still something you have yet to resolve. I beg your pardon? You still haven't offered explanation for why that man would lie to us. That's, well... Gummy, don't tell me you lied for my sake. Hey, don't worry about it, Kay. Everything's gonna be okay. Yeah, so that's why. So, what was Detective Gumshoe's motive for lying? If you can't explain that, then you can't call this a perfect investigation. His reason for lying is very simple. What? Here's what I believe to be his reason. From simple observation of the detective's actions and his intentions with Kay, it's obvious that that detective was lying for the young girl's sake. And this piece of evidence, I will show you exactly why. Which piece of evidence proves that Detective Gumshoe was lying for on account of Kay? Okay, let's see. Honestly, it's the promises. Mr. Faraday and Kay's promise notebook. How does this explain anything? If you could take a look at this page, it clearly says written that Kay should never take things from strangers. When Detective Gumshoe heard about that promise, he tried to cover for Kay. What a foolishly foolish fool's fool of a foolish reason for a fool! Gummy, you lied because of me, didn't you? Because I'm your friend, Kay. That's why. Gummy. At long last, Detective Gumshoe, can you please tell me the whole truth now? Guess there's no beating around you. Guess there's no beating you, huh, pal? Okay. I'll spill the goods. I've been standing guard for a while. I was getting really hungry, and that snack vending machine just taunting me. But all the cash, but all the cash you had on you was $5, and that wasn't enough to buy anything, right? After all, the cheapest item on the machine was a $6 pack of Swiss rolls. Yeah, but then, like an angel from heaven, Kay showed up. I was thinking about sharing a snack with Daddy, so I wanted to buy Swiss rolls. But I only had about $1 in coins. So, we pulled my $5 and her $1 together. And bought a pack of Swiss rolls together. But I was worried about breaking one of my promises. So then Gummy said, Mr. Farrer, there's one scary guy when he gets mad. But don't worry, you won't get in trouble if I don't tell, right? Besides, you bought it with me. So you didn't really get it from me, you know? He told me it'd be okay. And he gave me a whole roll to save and give to Daddy. Sorry, my throat's still a little on the wonky side. Sadly, I really don't know how I can get this, let's call it a clump, out of there. Oh, wait. Give me a second, I have an idea. Maybe that will work. It's just a moment. Hopefully at least don't fall over. Life. Stuff like that can happen, and yeah. Wouldn't want to completely negate here this whole stream just because I managed to throw something over. Also, this music gets relatively high on my butt. Oh, yeah. So, can't guarantee that this will have had any effect, but yeah, maybe it helps me get rid of it so I can talk better. In all cases, back to business and back to Francesca. Well, Francesca, honestly, I'm still unsure how her name is correctly pronounced. I believe it's Francesca, but well, it could be very different. Well, anyway, it's her talking. Who knew that Scruffy could be so considerate? Hey, didn't I click back in? Yeah, now. Indeed. Detective, I take it that you then sat down on the bench and ate the rolls together. Yeah. We split the other roll and ate it there. The sweet taste of that cake's chocolate. I'd never forget it as long as I live, pal. Anyway. Okay, I believe this also belongs to you. Oh, that's from the balloon I popped. It's bad manners to leave garbage lying around, Kay. I'm sorry. Well, I guess I can't blame you for not throwing this one piece away. It was sitting high up on a windowsill where you couldn't see it. So, just this once, I forgive you. But that balloon... I wanted to surprise Gummy a little, so I popped it on purpose. And because of me, Gummy dropped half of the Swiss roll. Wow, you really got me there, pal. So I thought maybe I should give Gummy this other role. And then I saw you picking on Gummy, mister. So you kicked me. Is that it? You sure are a feisty one. I'm really sorry, mister. It's alright. I'm perfectly unharmed. But about this withdrawal. Would be alright with you if I held onto it until Detective Gumshoe is cleared of all charges and free to go. Yeah, sure. Just make sure to give it to Gummy afterwards, okay? Of course, I promise. Now then, I believe we have proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway for the entire duration of his duty, which undeniably proves that Detective Gumshoe could not have committed the double murders.
Objection.
Actually, it proves just the opposite, Edgeworth. You've just shown that Detective Gumshoe is the only one who could have committed the crime. What do you mean? It's quite rude to eavesdrop, Miss Yu. I'm getting lectured on my manners. My girl with a penchant for whipping people. What? How dare you talk back with such insolence? You're wrong, lady. Gummy's not the bad guy. Oh, and what have we here? What is a child doing here in the courthouse? Bailiff, please take this child away. Me? Miss Calissa to Jew. Miss Calissa, you. That girl's Mr. Faraday's. So you know. I know. So what? You think that just because she's the victim's daughter, that she gets to just run wild all around the crime scene? I think it's actually quite dangerous for her to speak nothing of getting underfoot. I suppose you're right. However, as long as we're in agreement on that point, let's get back to the real issue at hand. Oh, as long as we're in agreement on that point, let's get back to the real issue at hand. Now then, detective, you were in front of the door to lobby number 2 the entire time, correct? Yeah, but... You see, isn't it obvious that it could only be the detective? He's the only person who could have gone into lobby number 2 at the time of the murders. Yeah. I have no counter-argument to all that. Don't worry, I've already put in the necessary paperwork for his formal arrest. But the investigation is far from over. Oh, that's right. I was going to speak with you about that. Don't you think it's reckless to talk to subjects out in the open without a guard? I suppose it is. Well, as someone with more experience in law than you, allow me to share something. Always keep a good eye on a criminal, or you may regret what comes of your negligence. Ooh, Miles. I can't believe you're getting this woman's lecture. I can't believe you're letting this woman lecture you like this. This unforgivable as a disciple of Von Karma. Down, Tigress. Now then, I'm looking forward to the results of your investigation. So, we are back to square one. Actually, this is our last chance. I can tell that if we fail to solve this case, Detective Gumshoe will be formally charged under all the circumstantial evidence. This investigation is not over yet. There's still one location we have yet to inspect. It's where Detective Bat and Miss Yu were at the time of the crime, lobby number 1. Yep. Really. If last time I had just a few moments more, I could have gotten here. Well, it is what it is, I guess. Still, there's at least one more part about this episode, or this greater case file I will have. Let's see. If I cut this up later for anything else. In all cases, we're back, and this time we're in defendant lobby number 1, and we at September 10th, 5:45 p.m. District Court. And honestly, how the hell, with all of the water I have gotten for myself, do I not have enough? This is certainly unacceptable. I really hate to do this. Give me a moment, I'll be back in a minute or two at max. Alright, I'm back. Bad enough with all of that, bad enough that I seem to not get a grip on my water consumption for some reason, but no matter if it's the weather or if it's anything else, for some reason every of those streams here for Ace Attorney seem to get plagued by some issue or another related to food and drink. And I have no idea why. For some reason, honestly, I had less complications with that during my Pal World stream, but well, can't have it all. In any case, let's continue. So, yeah, September 10th, 5:45 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 1. Why is this incredibly what is this incredibly overpowering sweet scent? It smells like flowers. Uncle Bat, is that it? Isn't that Detective Bat and Kay over there? It looks like she managed to escape the bailiff. That's not quite it. I did give him a more, at least attempt to give him a more rough voice, but really need to work on my voice work. Aw, too bad. But it's so pretty. I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, I guess I can let you keep it. Oh, thanks. I'll treasure it anyway. Those two seem to get along rather well. Oh, here. I've got something else for you. Yay, thank you, Uncle Bat. Earlier, I ate one of these with Gummy. Gummy? Oh, you mean Detective Gumshoe? Gummy is... He's trying to be nice to me because I was gonna get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he lied to protect me. Yummy. Well, scarfing down a Swiss roll while crying and speaking with mouthful. Yeah. Okay, certainly is a perfect representation of what a good child is like. No, he didn't kill Daddy. Don't cry. Faraday would be sad if he saw you crying. I'm not crying. Okay. Ah, there's a mister from before and the lady too. Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being? You're not involved in the investigation, so it's for the best if you do. Actually, I'm Uncle Bat's assistant. So I'm related to the investigation. Huh. I just noticed. With this slightly crooked smile Kay has on her face, she does look a little bit like, well, she really does look a little bit like she has a beak. This is, yeah, this is an interesting design point related to her and her relationship regarding the Yatakarasu. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't get distracted by this. Is that so, Detective Bat? Yeah, I guess. What? You're just scolding us like kids for... You're just scolding us like kids to not mess up a crime scene. And now you let this child run free? Why? People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. He also had a few things she wanted to look into. Got a problem with that? I don't have a problem with that, but I'm curious as to what Miss Yu is looking into. Uncle Bat, I'm gonna look somewhere else now, okay? Alright, I'm counting on you. Oh, that's right, Mr. Hey, mister. Yes, what is it? I know Gummy really isn't the bad guy. I mean it. So please, find the real bad guy, okay? I won't forgive whoever did this. But in the absence of the perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there's no one else who could be the true culprit other than Detective Gumshoe. She wandered off while I was pondering. Well... Sorry. Really... It is astonishing that I seem to always get the yearning for some yawning while playing this game. Not even... One would assume I would start yawning on account of something being boring, but this isn't boring, yet somehow it gets me yawning. Oh, I didn't really want to go out. Maybe... Yeah. Honestly, since I'm already here, let's see what the U has to say. What is it, Edgeworth? Nothing in particular, however. Yeah, he says. You did it again. What is that supposed to be? Your mating call? Everything I do is humorous to this woman. Look, Edgeworth, I'm incredibly busy right now. I've got a mountain of things to figure out and check up on. If you want to talk, you're just going to have to wait until later, okay? I'll just continue my investigation then. Well, do I investigate lobby number 1 or... Honestly, I am intrigued. Would you... Not there? Huh. Well, I can't go everywhere. Forward. Oh, there she is. Did I really miss her when I walked in? Well, let's see what Kay has to say. After all, she's looking for something. Sorry, miss, I'm a little busy right now. Doing what? And well, I'm looking for something. Uncle Bet told me to... Uncle Bet told me to, so that's what I'm going to do. Let's go. I don't want to interfere with the girl, lest Detective Bet get angry. Yes, agreed. Okay, so investigation of this region. Wonderful windows in this lobby is open as well. The air conditioner is working just fine in this room. What? So why did they open it, I wonder? Well, I guess that flowery scent may be a reason for it. Sorry, had an itch. I suppose with the air conditioning working here, if someone were to spill something like, let's say, an entire bottle of perfume, they would open this window. I don't have any relation to perfume per se, but believe me, if someone lays on something like such a flowy scent thick and there's no good ventilation in the area, even yeah, you wouldn't even need to spill an entire bottle in order to have that be nauseating at best. This decorative plant leaves these decorative plant leaves are shinier than the ones on the plant in lobby number 2. That's probably because it's next to the windows, where it's easier to photosynthesize. You may be right. Plus, the curtains are always drawn in lobby number 2. The caretaker of this courthouse don't think enough about the plants, do they? That's because they're the courthouse's caretakers, not a bunch of botanists. Edgeworth, that's no reason to ignore the needs of a plant, especially if you're the caretaker of it. I mean, if those plants really look different, despite being well acquired at the same time, that's something they should notice, and then it's something they should correct. The fact that they are the caretakers of the building doesn't mean they get a free pass on being ignorant towards, well, anything within it, especially not something alive. Well, let's see. It is tea or coffee. What an incredibly strong scented herbal tea. I fear that more than being relaxed, this scent may make one a bit hazy instead. You put that special request for that. No wonder she's so violent if she's been drinking this stuff the whole time. Neither woman should be allowed to comment on this particular topic, ever. Francesca is a little on the swingy side when it comes to all of those. I can see down into the courthouse courtyard from here. What is that mess supposed to be? It's like an optical illusion. I believe it's supposed to be postmodern in design. More like thoughtlessness in design. Maybe. I can't disagree here. This television is the same model as the one in Defend Lobby number 2. Looks like the two rooms are basically the same in terms of layout and supplies. Yes. Hmm. Two rooms are basically the same, huh? Yeah. This would infer that you could swindle someone into thinking they were in the wrong room. Also, it would allow you to plan something if, well, both sides are of the same design. Considering considering how these games are, I'm relatively sure that this will come into play sooner or later. Bleh. I'm really far too thirsty. Why am I this thirsty? Well, let's talk to the bad guy. Or Detective Bat. Our guy. Detective Bat, what exactly was Kay searching for? Nothing that concerns you, boy. Oh, and I suppose it has something to do with Kay? It does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste. Sounds like he'd rather be left alone. I have something I'd like to confirm with you once again. I don't have anything to say to you. Be that as it may, we still have questions that we need answers to. Sorry. May sound strange to you, dear viewer, but considering just the ridiculous amount of thirst I seem to have today, or over the past days or weeks in general, never forget to get a little bit of salt every once in a while, otherwise all you do is run and have the water run. Water's good, but never go too far beyond the balance when it comes to water and salt. Now then, first of all, what's this overpowering smell that's permeating this room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate. It's that ultra-strong perfume you wears. She spilled some of it. I was having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened the window, but that smell's still here. Perfume, huh? So, sweet scent in the air is perfume. Well, it's giving off quite a stench. I bet it's some cheap no name brand. She said it's a famous brand from overseas. It's a knockoff. Definitely a knockoff. No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles onto me. Here, little girl, you can have it. I was born for a much, much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold onto this bottle without fail. No. Why can't she ever be honest about her wants? Misused parfum. Parfum given to Bad by you. Same perfume as the ones built in lobby number 1. What does that say on the bottle? Angel? I guess someone attempted to write a fancier variant of Angel as a brand name. So, now we have his perfume, Miss U.S. Just fantastic. Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'm going back to investigating. Actually, I still have a few other things I wish to inquire about. During the recess. So you were in this room during the entire recess? Like I said, I made a call to the precinct to get that big lockdown here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here. Sorry. At least your story's consistent. Earlier you said that you were in this lobby with Miss Yu. Yeah. She ran into her... she ran into her... I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here. Then what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe arrived, you and Miss Yu were in two different locations. Guess I am. Interesting. Speaking of that lawyer, she seems to have a great dislike for you. Let's see. Miss Yu's the sister of the victim of the KG8 incident. And as I recall, Detective Bat was the lead detective on that case. I wonder if the reason for her deciding isn't simply because you failed to guard Cece, but because you were the lead detective on the case. You knew? I also know that today's trial involving a Cordopian embassy staff member is being referred to as the second KG8 incident. Now then, detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday and the KG8 incident. If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you. I want to know this, but first, I forget to check on my new evidence regarding additional things to read or look at, and in this case, there doesn't seem to be any. So, yawn. So the KG8 incident. Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KG8 incident. It's not exactly a happy story. Other than the people who were directly involved. You too will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. Wait, did he pull that lollipop out any time prior to this? The honest truth behind the KG8 incident. Faraday, you and I, as you already know, we three were involved with the KG8 incident. Faraday and I, we were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring. You mean the smuggling ring involved... You mean the smuggling ring involving one of the Yamano group's secretaries? That trial was just a front. A facade? Yeah. But the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Yamano group's ties to the smuggling ring, CCU, was killed. Then, what became of the secretary who was arrested? His name was Colin Deveray. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring. But he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Deveray was probably being intimidated by the big boss man. Just another scapegoat. Boss man of the Amano group? He can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. That can't be right. It's probably just Detective Bat's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Amano of being involved with smuggling? I suppose it would be quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed CCU, Manny Koshin, was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once of her murder, Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go? If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him. That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, Cece, are supposed to protect them both. Once again, it appears I'm getting hungry. And this time, I'm out of cookies. Well, I'll need to make do so. Continue on. Hopefully I can continue on long enough. I shall suffer. Well, Monsieur did mention that as well. About how Detective Bat was supposed to guard her sister. But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into the trap. What kind of trap? The holes in this jacket are testament to that trap. You mean you're fired upon? You're shot at that many times in one gunfight? No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG8 incident. I see. I couldn't protect CCU, and the suspect was found not guilty. We had hit a brick wall, as far as the law was concerned. And that's when she came into the courtroom, the victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu. Dear viewer, I should have brought enough snacks for the both of us. Yet I have nothing. Well, yeah, so what's it with Bat and his relationship to you? Or maybe it's you and me. Or is it not? Well, in any case. About when you first met Miss Yu. It was on the day of the verdict of the KG8 incident. It was the day of the day the verdict of the KG8 incident was handed down, was it not? Yes, Faraday and I, who apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face. Well, she certainly had a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. If it was me, not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough. I suppose not. You said it yourself. That she never wanted to see either of us ever again. But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct? Yeah. Faraday and I, we even after the After the KG-8 incident had come to a close, we continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases. But the result was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring. Is this ring really that big? It was in pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor and I was the lead detective. Took to the witness stand. She appeared out of the blue as a defense attorney. Her client was related to the smuggling ring and she was defending them. Yeah. You was pursuing the ring as best as she could as a lawyer. I think she defended Rel this time for the same reason. Come to think of it, Monsieur did say something to the same effect. Yeah, I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for the leads regarding the KGA incident, alright? And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer. Don't put words into my mouth, I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rel was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him, ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. I really need some form of snack or something. In this weather, all of this is a lot harder than I expected, and well, if I want to continue, I can't have that. So, I'm back. It's very much ridiculous on how much it seems to drain me just here to have this stream going. In terms of European weather, I have certainly chosen an intensely interesting time frame to start my streaming career, and I hope my weather-related side effects don't exactly lead to too many annoyances. Well, hopefully me crunching down on what I have found is not, or will not be too loud and all of that, but especially I'll need to find the points between things I need to narrate in order to even get a bite in, so yeah. Let's see if I can coordinate all of that. Heh, it doesn't matter what her reason is, helping a criminal is just despicable. You're so naive, little girl. Sorry, I guess I should chew with the other side. I could have stolen this lollipop from you. That's how naive you are. How dare you insult the daughter of a front karma? Just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what was of what the law could do. That's all. The law is merely a tool. There's no limit to it, only the skill of the craftsman. You too are still too young, but one day you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all. So, what is his more detailed relation to Faraday? So, what was your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well. I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. And Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together. But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case. Did we touch a nerve? I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial, to prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. Which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either. Sorry. Maybe I should just mute my mic when I take a bite. Honestly, it's ridiculous that I even need to eat during this. Hasn't even been 2 weeks so awfully long since I've ate. Since I've eaten. Ate is the, Well, I certainly hope that it's my lack of experience in streaming and the weather together that caused me to make these mistakes. I sense there's more to this statement than meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into the Yatagarasu is what is necessary. So, what's he supposed to say about the Yatagarasu? You claim to know much about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share what? Would you care to share what you know with me? What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel. I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu. What? The KG8 incident and this second KG8 incident. Both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring. And both these cases, the witness who was to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there's one point in which they differ. And that is the presence of the presence or absence of the great thief Yatagarasu. Nope. Sorry. I dropped my controller. Mr. Rell claimed to be the Yatagarasu. However, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared that Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then, during recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that to be the least bit odd? Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already. I believe that there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time. A reason, huh? And so in order to catch Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu. If it will help you solve this case. Then I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason why we've never caught the Yatagarasu. What was that sudden outburst for? You almost made me whip you by accident. Yeah. Okay, so her reaction to being startled by a person is to whip Edgeworth. It's accidentally whip me anyway. There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind. Ever. I see. So those are the Yatagarasu special traits. Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief. The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention, and would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. Lowbrow, not lowbrow. Oh, the lowbrow is also a rather interesting idea. That's how I know that Rel wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away. But you can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove he wasn't. Listen, little girl. I'm not done talking yet. What's different about this time is that the evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Kodopian embassy, the Yatagrasso. Chomp. Yatagarasu sent the evidence. Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about. In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it? That's easy. A special card that only the Yatagarasu uses was attached. Chomp. That's how I can be so sure. And just what sort of card is it? Here, take a look at that article. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was. And that's how Detective Bat knew Mr. Rel was a phony. Thank you very much. I have a much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. If you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bat, what does the law mean to you? Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive. I became a prosecutor and had to find the answer to that question myself. And to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. September 10th, District Court, Courtroom number 3. Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. It appears that his honor is still a bit dispirited. For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand at the witness stand. I now have a great appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony. Well, there's no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict. Francesca, there's no need to further depress His Honor. But I'm not trying to, Miles. Your Honor. Your Honor. I've come to collect the evidence that that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor. The evidence. Your Honor. Oh! Yes, yes, can I help you? I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir. Your Honor, do you think you can stay focused long enough at least to do your job? Yes, I'm sorry. And I would accept that the defense attorney has yet to arrive. She's busy with the investigation, so let's keep this brief, shall we? Very well, in that case, please confirm that all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell are also included, so please go ahead and use them in your investigation into their case. Understood, Your Honor. Pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of those two men. So, potentially a gun and a knife. This could be a very good chance for me to find leads regarding their case. And maybe something that will finally lead me to the truth. I place all the evidence over at the prosecutor's bench for you. I see. Thank you very much. I will go and confirm that they are all accounted for. But first, snooping time. Come on, I want to snoop. Evidence that Miss Yu prepared is just sitting here on this table. You know you can't just walk off with it, right? Of course I do. You must, Miss Yu must have been caught off guard by her client's sudden accusation. Wonder how she would have defended Mr. Rell in that case, if he was still alive. So, this is the evidence related to today's Cadopian embassy trial from Mr. Faraday's bag. You mean the evidence bag that was on the table in lobby number 2, right? Yes. Finally, we can now take a look at the evidence itself and not just the data about them. Let's be sure to thoroughly investigate them while we have the time. Agreed. I want to take a good look at all of the evidence from the embassy murder too. And why is that? Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about. Yeah. Don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something. And don't you try order me around just because Papa chose you today. I see someone is so sore about not being picked by Mr. von Karma. it's also real to see the knife up close. Sorry. So we have a knife, a gun, an envelope, and what's this organizer doing here? Oh. Misclicked. Oh, that's right, I completely forgot to tell you. About what, Your Honor? They found Mr. Paraday's personal organizer inside that evidence bag of his. Detective Bat requested it to be passed along to you. He said it would help with the investigation. Detective Bat said that. What a strange stroke of luck. Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. We may as well flip through it too. I wonder, I won't rest until I fix, yeah, of course. Well, once again in the investigation part. And I've chomped down on more or less all I have prepared for right now. It's so ridiculous that this game seems to make me hungry all the time. And thirsty. What kind of evil spirit is part of this game to have me constantly be in a crisis of not being sustained enough? Well, let's try with a file. I took a quick look through these documents before the trial started. Well, I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it. I suppose I should explain it to you then. Yes, you should. Perfectly and in its entirety, if you please. On the night of September 8th, an embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. And a staff member died of shock due to being shot in the heart. Mackerel was brought in that night as a suspect and thoroughly questioned. Because the murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot. A simpleton of a man, that's what he was. Perhaps he was, for the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Rao was caught in the act of on film by security camera. He was an even bigger simpleton than I thought. I can't believe he didn't notice a security camera. The Cadopian Embassy's security system is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not been unaware that there was a camera in this area. So, have you seen the contents of the video for yourself? Yes, the surveillance video the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Rell on it. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear. So the footage included sound, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone's death in real life. Me neither. Is it neither or neither? Well. This gun, it was originally used to kill the Cadopian Embassy staff member. When the crime was reported, the responding police found Mr. Rell still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest. And then, this gun took the original shooter's life. How ironic. Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn from this piece of evidence. The knife itself. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. Who would have thought such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act. I never crossed your mind that you use your riding crop for the wrong purpose. Nothing else here, it seems. And then there's the organizer. Mr. Faraday's organizer. It appears he was in the habit of using it. It looks like he it looks like he wrote his strategy for getting Mr. Rell convicted down in here. I've collected evidence. I need to prove that Mr. Rell was the killer. Between the handgun Rell had on him when he was arrested and the surveillance tape, I should be able to prove that he was the one. It appears Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rell was the killer in the case. The sound of the handgun going off was recorded with superb clarity on the surveillance video. I also have evidence that I can use to prove that Rell is not the real Yatagarasu. So far, so good. You could almost sit on it. And it would also appear that he had proof that Mr. Rell was not a Yatagarasu. No matter how he may try to play it, as long as I have the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, it should clear everything up. And he apparently also had a very definitive piece of evidence. It's been a long battle. I hope that this will finally bring it to an end. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim that Mr. Rell may have made about being the real Yatagarasu. And he had a way to prove that Mr. Rell was the guilty party in the embassy murder. Once again, thirsty. This organizer's a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I have to take my time and give it a thorough read later. Mr. Faraday's organizer has been jotted down. Look, that's a picture stuck between those pages here. It appears to be a key. And a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design on the handle. Craftsmanship's superb. Well, bye-bye, little bot. May you not be missed in my chat. So. Okay. Could this be the Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer? Yatagarasu's key? Detective Bat said something earlier. What's if in this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police? And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Kodopian embassy, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu sent the evidence. Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select other few knew about. Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep the secret key safe. As a prosecutor in both the Yategarasu and the smuggling ring cases, that's to be expected. The Yategarasu's key has been jotted down. Ah, come on. I did click back in when I checked that, didn't I? Click, click, in. Yep, no. That's odd. What is it? Mr. Faraday didn't Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in this organizer. That certainly is odd. The weapon that that was used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member was a gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from? Isn't it obvious? It was brought into the courthouse by Mr. L. That is the only logical conclusion, right? No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside. In that case, how do you suppose this knife ended up inside the courthouse? I need to think carefully here. There's nothing related to the knife written anywhere inside Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, it is a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to be to have seen today. So in order to solve this mystery, I believe I need to take a good look at the evidence. Mr. Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me? Actually, I do know the answer, Francesca. What? Then what is it? One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been hiding a secret of its own. And it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courthouse. Honestly, I have a strong suspicion, considering the overall design, that a knife in fact isn't, well, that knife and key are part of the same. Can I? No, I can't revisit this one. I can, however, revisit this one. Let's see, can I read anything additional here? Well, nothing additional, but in terms of design philosophy, both the Yategarasu key and our good knife here share very similar identity, so I guess the key, which hasn't been mentioned at all, is and the knife are related to each other.
Take that!
This Yategarasu's key, Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse. Yeah, not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth. You just need to look a bit closer, Francesca, to see what I mean. Don't the color and ornamentation of the key's handle remind you of something? They do remind me of the knife. Very good. Both the Yategarasu's key in this photo and the murderer's knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yategarasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was a knife. You don't seriously mean to say? It appears that a knife... it appears you finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are in fact one and the same. But That's possible. Even if that's what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Yeah, I see. The differences in design come from this being a butterfly design. One side is a key, the other is a knife. However, that would mean, or imply at least, that there's a sheath that's still missing in order to secure it in one or the other position. Did I read that? Yeah, I did read that. Now then, let us examine this knife in a little more detail. Yep. Yep, and there it is. I can't believe it turned into a key. To think there was such a trick to this thing. So, the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key of the Yatagarasu. The key the Yatagarasu stole. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up until now. Yatagarasu's key has been updated. Frankly, I am shocked. Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspect of this piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea that the key was hiding a knife blade inside. But if that is true, then only someone who knew about the key to a knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday. Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We are looking for someone who knew even more about the key than even Mr. Faraday. Meaning that the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place. The great thief Yatagarasu. Then maybe Mr. L really was the Yatagarasu. And he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that the one possible scenario? No, not really, especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. L was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bat said earlier, but, when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was. I see. Alright then. I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else, and that person is the real Yatagarasu. Seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. Knife has been updated. That's odd. We shot one piece of evidence. And the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court. A surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? A video showing the moment in which Mr. Rel committed a murder. Where could it have gone indeed? Are you done with inspecting the evidence? Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honor, I'm missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence. Your Honor, were you derelict in your duties? What? No! I dare not lick my duties. What do you take me for? No, Your Honor, the most important piece of evidence in this trial today. The surveillance video is not among the evidence you laid out for me. But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene. There's something wrong here. Something about this missing piece of evidence. It would appear that for me to find the answer I seek, I can already see how this ties into the whole thing. The murder had been occurred a long time prior, namely long before Mr. Gumshoe Detective Gumshoe, even arrived on the scene. Meaning also long before the balloon popped. The murders had already been taken place. Then, as a result, nothing was seen. Nobody went into lobby number 2, only into number 1 after Gumshoe arrived, so it had been already happened. As we know, the judge only heard the balloon pop, so that's certainly not it. However, the most important piece of this piece of evidence we just know is missing is a video recording of the incident that supposedly has a very clear audio recording as well. So depending on how long that recording is, if inserted into those big ass TVs, one would assume that of course the entire content is relayed back. In other words, as soon as the video hit the point of the gunshot, a gunshot would be heard. Depending on how the rest would have happened, well, we know that this television was a bit on the trigger-happy side itself when it came to being reactivated, so probably when all came crashing down and, well, the alarm was raised. I will have to pay another visit to the scene the scene of the crime. Defendant lobby number 2. Yep. Well, how about that? Isn't that a wolf boy from the last case? September 10th, 6 p.m. District Court, defendant lobby number 2. Oh, that's Detective Bat. But who is he with? I've never seen that officer before. So, did you find it? No, not yet. I've looked everywhere. I see. Then please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. So you're the one running the show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes. How dare you? Just who do you think you are? He certainly doesn't like us. What was that about? And who was that man just now? Whoever he was. I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life. Does he even know that we're standing right here behind him? I know you're I know you're standing right there behind me. What do you want, kids? It looks like you weren't. It looked like you were paying attention after all. Of course I was. I have eyes at the back of my head. So that no reason for vanity's sake. That's why I'm to keep an eye on who or what is behind him at all times. So tell me, Detective Bat, who was that rude man just now? The guy came here from the Republic of Junkfair to study. He's Agent Lang. He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of detainment from scratch. By visiting various police departments around the world, he has a lot of dedication. He's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. The guy is more useful than Gumshoe, even if he's rude. Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come into his country and give prosecutors a hard time. I agree. However, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Bat? Earlier, that little girl was poking around the lobby number 1 as well. Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you. I highly doubt that it has nothing to do with me. Fine. If this is the game I must play, then I will take this opportunity to draw out what he has been hiding and what happened in this room straight from him. Well, let's see. This has a video recording device, or at least a player, so... That is one tiny TV. Detective Gumshoe was rather shocked at this, and said it's huge compared to his own. Anything you compare with something he owns will always seem grandiose. Speaking of grandiose, I'd say that ego of yours could use a little deflating. Well, it seems I will need to talk to Bat about it. So, Mr. Bad Guy? Well, bad. And once again, there's another yawn from me. So far, I have, every time I have streamed this game, I've become tired up to the yawning side, sometimes even to have needed a break. I pretty much always am thirsty beyond reproach, and for some reason get hungry, even if there's no reason for it. Is this game related to vampires in some kind? Well, anyway, earlier you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You're quite a busy man, Detective Bat. Multiple returns to a crime scene bring about success. That's what we detectives say. I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked about what happened again, correct? I don't have anything left to say to you, boy. Boy? You'd see, I will draw my answer from you one way or another. Wouldn't it kill you to help us even a tiny bit in our investigation? I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. I'd have enough, don't you think? Please, we're asking you for just a bit more of your cooperation. Don't push me, kid. Time of the murder. So what can you say about it? I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime. I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do would be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about things I don't know about? Things you don't know about? But aren't you supposed to know everything? He should. Wait, is it possible? Maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind that piece of evidence. Should try showing it to him. May prove to be a key to getting some answers from Detective Bat. Honestly, considering he's the expert, if he doesn't know about this being not only being a folding knife, but also being the literal thing he may have been looking for, well, in that case, I have to very much be disappointed in him. So in that case, should I show him the key or should I show him the knife? No, wait, that is the. I need to show him the knife itself, considering that I do not have additional data on the photo. The weapon just used to kill Mr. Faraday. The handle and the blade itself both have a beautiful design work into them. Look, there's even a flower-shaped design in this gold section here. If this hadn't been used as a tool of murder, I'd want it for myself. She seems to be drawn to the embellishments. Too bad this isn't mine to give. Well, let's see if I can just give it to him or if I need to fold it for prior to this. Detective Bad. Did you know did you know of the existence of the eye item in this photograph? Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case. In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yatagarasu's key are one the same? What? That's impossible. It looks like he didn't know after all. This piece of evidence, which we call the Yatagarasu's key, is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu's key to prove that Mr. L was not a real Yatagarasu. Isn't that correct? I guess so. However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was in fact a knife. Yeah. I have to admit, neither of us knew that fact. And if neither of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this? I noticed that since a little while ago you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for? Yeah, that's right. And why were you searching for it? Because I promised Faraday. I promised that I'd protect the key with my life. And after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key it was what took Faraday's life? Detective Bad. So that we may find the truth, please testify for me once again. Alright. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing will change. So, it appears I can get another testimony from him. Let's see if we can clear up a few things, especially the time frame at which the murder took place. Detective Bad, I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1. My answer is still the same. And this is the last time I'm going to do this. That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear up everything. Yep. I may be a bit inconsistent in my volume. This is ridiculous, but it is what it is. And the truth behind this case. Detective Bad's movement. I was in lobby number 1 talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard a gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, he and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around down around here, around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2. sounds like the exact same story he has told us before. Indeed. However, I feel that we have yet to draw out all the information we can. Yeah. Detective Bat's movement. I was in lobby number 1 talking with you.
Hold it.
Why did Miss Hughes chose lobby number 1? Answer me. Who knows? She just said that she had something she wanted to talk to me about. And we walked into lobby number 1 together. That's all. So, his answer remains the same as before, you see. We were talking about some trivial things. I was hoping you could expand upon what exactly you were discussing with Miss Yu. Trivial stuff. It was nothing important. That is for me to decide. Why, game? Why do you need to be draining to that extent? Alright, I suppose that's for him to decide. Moving on then. I had a gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. Until you had a gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary? I didn't hear any of the strange sounds until that gunshot. The gunshot Detective Bat heard was really the one from the murder. That would give that other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with that statement just now. Sure. I didn't hear any of the strange sounds until that gunshot.
Hold it.
Probably highly relevant that I remember that one. Detective Bat, you honestly don't remember hearing anything else? Yeah. Is it possible you were so involved in your conversation that you missed something? I've been a detective for a long time, and even if I were involved in something, I've got quite a habit of keeping tabs on everything that goes around me. Is it the way I try to modulate my voice in order to give a better voice that makes me yawn? If there had been some other strange sound, you can be sure I would have heard it. Suppose with this evidence, there's probably very likely. So the gunshot. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together.
Hold it.
And why did the two of you dash out into the hallway straight away? Because we clearly heard the sound of a gunshot. And we knew it came from somewhere nearby. How did you know that it was a gunshot? My line of work. You hear enough of them to know. A yawn fest on my end. I suppose it's only natural for a detective to know what the real gunshot sounds like. And given the circumstances, the only person I could think of whose life would have been in danger was Faraday. That's why I ran out into the hallway right away and headed for where he was. The gumshoe going around there, and then we all ran into the lobby number 2. Detective Gumshoe was there in the hallway. Yeah. Why didn't you test that earlier? When I saw Gumshoe, it was after I had heard the gunshot. Having seen him there didn't change the fact that he still could have done it done the deed. Yeah. Sounds exactly like what Detective Bat told us before, however. Is there something in particular we should be asking the detective about? It just may be. So, no one knew that the knife is actually the Yatakarasu key. Reflecting on that, perhaps there are other things that we know now, but Detective Bat doesn't yet. That should be my angle of attack. That would have been an important point here. So, let's see two other things that could have happened. We have the key. There is the perfume, of course. There's the organizer, that's new. It also is more or less new that I am completely tired to hell, it seems. The proof of the gunshot is he could have heard is most likely something later on. So the only other strange sound that could have been heard would have been the, well, that balloon that was popped on purpose and that had already been mistaken. So? Detective Bat, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything? It's the same color as the one Kay was holding. Oh, so you knew about that girl's balloon? Yeah, sitting with her up in the gallery. During the recess, just before we split up, I filled that balloon up for her. Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon. So, what about the balloon? I wonder if you may remember hearing this balloon pop at some point. What are you getting at? This fragment was found in the hallway, right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook for a gunshot. Oh, so that's the sound the judge heard. So, the sound the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh? On top of that, His Honor said that he heard the balloon pop about 20 minutes before the trial was to reconvene. Yes, which means that His Honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway. So, when you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bat, if you were in lobby number 1 at the time, you were close enough that you should have heard the balloon popping as well. So, don't give me a so. We've just proven that there's a flaw in your testimony. Honestly, even I would say that this was a very weak thing to point out here. The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet naivety cracking. And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? It's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked. What's that supposed to mean? The doors and walls are super thick, The window panes are double layered. On top of it all, even the curtains are made of special sound-absorbing material. And you mean... Since I was shut up inside lobby number 1, there was no way I could have heard that sound. No. Yeah. I knew that what he was going to say. And that means that Scruffface's testimony is completely useless. If the rooms are soundproof, then of course he wouldn't hear any sign of struggle. That's also why it's only natural that I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now do you get it, kids? Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the ones finding flaws in his logic. Not the other way around? Well, that produces another point of evidence we have not yet investigated. If these walls have been thoroughly soundproofed, especially if it is subsonic ammo that's fired, how far would that reach? Maybe it would be, well, discernible at a certain distance still. However, how far is that distance? That once again that once again means that it is rather likely that if everything was well prepared to be completely soundproof, neither shot or pop or anything would have been heard. Meaning the only reason that a gunshot was heard was because both sides of these windows were open. The other way around. Not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if one were in lobby number 1. However, if we examine this situation in reverse, the person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear a real gunshot either. And yet, Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bat. If that's the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot? What do you mean, how? I just did. It would appear that you have yet to realize the contradiction in your own words. How so? The rooms are soundproof, as you say. Well, and how did the sound of a gunshot enter your ears? I see what you mean. Just a moment. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I had thought. Which means what exactly, Miles? In the end, what does it boil down to? Boils down to this. There must be a reason as to how Detective Bat and Gumshoe heard a gunshot they theoretically couldn't have. Looks like we need to examine the state of the crime scene again. State of the crime scene. Wait, can it be? It's that ultra strong perfume you wears. She spilled some of it. Yeah, that's the reason. And way too noisy. Yeah, completely set to max volume. The surveillance video. How come the piece of evidence just disappeared? Where did it go? I guess it's logic time. Let's see. What is the relation of stuff into it? Since I've uh, since I've already entered well, logic mode automatically, I can be certain that I will have to do something here and that I have everything. So a window in lobby number 1 was opened at the time to allow the perfume smell to dissipate. No human can climb through it, yet the scent of flowers is in the air. I guess that and that may be related to each other. And I guess those two are also related to each other, so let's start with those two. Simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through the barred windows. And yet, the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from defendant lobby number 1, of course. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through these open barred windows. Well, that still doesn't mean that there are ghosts around. So, now there's the question. Loud television plus open window or missing evidence plus very loud television. This is my first instinct, at least, in relation to where where that videotape is. And of course it wants something else. Yes, it is a piece of logic that related just once again it combines a logic and point of it that's different from the one that could also be. So high volume can also go through the windows. Now then, what else besides smell can go both in and out of an open barred window? The answer is sound. So no matter how careful the killer was, if the windows were open, the jig would be up. Since the window in both the defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations. Which also means that now I have the question of the sound of a gunshot and the missing evidence of which I know a gunshot is heard. Of which I know a gunshot is heard from if played in the correct point. Is that a fly on my wall? It appears it is, but too high to reach. Or is that a spider? I shouldn't get distracted. Missing piece of evidence is a video that shows the moment in which Mr. L killed the embassy staff member. The sound of a gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was played during the trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess and brought back here. If it disappeared after that time, then it's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence that's missing. The evidence that the missing evidence created for me. As the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place. Miles, what have you been thinking about? Stop wasting time thinking and let's start looking again. It's not a waste of time to think, for I have figured out where we should look. And where would that be? I believe we should examine the television. TV. Well, you kids have fun. Go ahead and examine whatever you like. Sorry. The burp is still strong in this one. Well, defendant number 2. And I can inspect this now. So, let's take our time. The window's wide open. A scent of flowers is being blown in from the outside. I think it softens the heavy air in here somewhat. Windows in both lobby number 1 and 2 were opened. Maybe maybe they were trying to air out the rooms, just like in lobby number 1. Or maybe they thought to ease some of the tension through some fresh air. Something is getting to me. With Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell in the same room, I imagine the latter to be the case. But what was there really a need to open the window just for that? Well, the television. Earlier, when Detective Gumshoe touched this, he made a most terrible record. You mean when Scruffy turned the television on, right? Actually, come to think of it, I don't think Detective Gumshoe actually touched the television at all. Furthermore, it seemed more like when a video feed suddenly stops. At least, it did to me. I wonder why this is. Well, the answer is down below here. It's a video player, and there seems to be a videotape inside. It looks like it. The tape must have stopped on its own when it reached the end. This tape, could it be the missing surveillance tape? I suppose, but... Detective Bat, would it be alright with you if I verify the contents of this video? Sure. Knock yourself out. Alright. Then let's rewind us and see what we have. If I remember correctly, the footage of Rel killing this embassy staff member should be about at the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape. Understood? This should be about right. Now then, let's see. Hey, this is the footage of Mr. Red shooting the embassy staff member. I knew it. The missing piece of evidence. The surveillance video was here all along. Another piece of evidence jotted down. And that we have it, which puts our good Miss Yu in a precarious position because, well, she's the reason that the window in the other lobby was opened. Most likely a reason either she was, well, forced to do something about it, or, of course, there is the option that she was at least, well, she could have been the culprit, or she could have been ordered to assist the culprit. In all cases, after the murder, this window was opened in order to even let any form of sound out. The video was played and was set in the recorder, the video player, prior to the killer leaving this room and started playing. After which, all there was to do was to find some, well, reason for it to be heard. So, most likely, the killer also opened the window in the hallway in order to have it heard. And Miss Yu, well, she spilled perfume, potentially not by accident, in order to have well, the window of defendant lobby number 1 opened. End result, the gunshot on the videotape, which was played on a television set to maximum volume, could be heard on multiple fronts. A sound. What's the meaning of this? It appears that Detective Bassett Bat has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder. Do you mean that you figured it all out, then? Yes. All I have to do now is show what the gunshot Detective Bat and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they had heard it from. Fine. In that case, show me what you've deduced. Well, time to show them what it was and where they heard it from. Well, honestly, it was through this TV with this videotape. Don't tell me that's wrong on account of me having put it on the television and not on the video player. This piece of evidence will clear away the last remaining contradiction of his case. Miles, I believe that piece may actually be proof of a different last of sorts. It proves that today will be your last day as a prosecutor. Ah, for fuck's sake. This is completely ridiculous. So, I only have the evidence here. I need to... So, what was the gunshot and through where they've heard it? So either they mean that I have to... I can once again examine the player. So, someone left this video on play the whole time, huh? I suppose so. Other than the killing, there's hardly a sound on the rest of the tape. And why did the television make that sound, loud noise when Scruffy got near it? That's probably because the tape had run out and stopped its playback. It's not just bad luck that the detective has the worst timing in the world too. Someone purposely left this video on play. The question is why. Now there we have the annoyance. Is that through the open window and the tape, or is it the player and the tape? Let's go for through the open window, since from where is the question. But it would still be this video. It's always an interesting and uniquely annoying thing if, well, if it is so blunt as the TV says. If the door and the window to the crime scene, namely this room we're in, were closed, the killer could have used a gun and no one would have been the wiser. That's true. The courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing, as it were. However, what happened in reality was Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bat, and Miss Yu. All three of them heard the gunshot. Well, the windows in lobby number 1, number 2, and the hallway were open. So naturally, the people in those locations could hear it. But then, why would the criminal open the window in the first place? To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose. Correct. But it's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this. But why was that necessary in the first place? I want real answers, Miles. I demand satisfaction. Very well. I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. Well, I'm rather certain that the killer wanted to displace the time frame. The killer wanted to fabricate the time of the time of death to their precise wishes. And they used the gunshot in the surveillance video to do so. So that's why the tape was left running. You mean the gunshot I heard was from this video? Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. Namely, most likely around half an hour prior to, well, continuation of the trial, considering that a gunshot was heard, well, just prior. Which would mean that Gumshoe arrived almost at the same time as the real murder took place. Must have been during a recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period. And planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. Well, Miss Yu already said she had ulterior motives. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, what is it? Miss Yu's asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She says that she's identified the murderer, but that she wants to clarify something. It looks like Miss Yu's still investigating something. Understood. Please tell her that I'll be right over. I'll come along. I want to hear what she has to say. It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth. Alright. Let's see. I'm pretty certain I can just go and do that. However, even though I want to complete it right now, like I said, this entire time I have been weirdly thirsty, combined with the probably wasn't such a good idea, even though he looks the part, to give Bad such a scratchy type of speaking. So, for one, I have pretty much run out of water, so I need to get another bottle. Also, well, it is at a rather convenient time right now that the results of drinking much water make themselves known, so I will be back in just 1 or 2 minutes, or 3 at worst. Also, I will make sure that this fly gets away from my monitor. Really? Did that fly really just dirty my monitor? I don't believe it. Well, at least I did need to clean this monitor again, so guess doing a little work initially is not that bad in this case, though. Curse you, fly. Huh. That other thing still sits on the wall in the same place. So I have more than one fly here, or that's something different on the wall up there. Yeah. I'll be back in 1 or 2 minutes or something like that. I'll have more water. I will, well, just go and take a leak. And after that, we'll see if it will be another 1.5 hours or something until this trial is over, or if I will be faster. So, see you in just 1 or 2 minutes. Alright, I'm back. I guess I should create or present myself with well, something along the lines of a waiting screen for all of this if I need to go for a minute. Well, that's something I can fix later on. So, continuation into this, and probably the last greater part of this investigation. So, we're coming and we are doing this. September 10th, 6:15 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 3. There she is. And there's Kay. Kay, what are you doing here?
Oh, hello, mister. I'm still investigating.
The object you're looking for has already... Kay, don't mind him. Please continue with your investigation.
Okay, you got it.
Detective Bat, haven't we already found what you were looking for? If it means if it means I can keep her in the dark just a little longer, any little task will do.
Oh, you're more sympathetic than I thought.
I've been waiting for you, Edgeworth. I've also been waiting for the moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest.
The moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest. Wasn't that when we placed Detective Gumshoe under arrest? I think we have more than solved this case already, don't you? We'll see. It all depends on whether or not your logic holds.
No. I see, we even have a view in our gallery.
And why, even Mr. Bat is here. A view in our gallery? I'm hardly just a bystander.
I have a duty to see this case through to the end. No matter how it turns out.
No, is that right? Anyway, I thought you may like to hear what I've slaved away to find out. I've taken statements on every single person's movements during the time when our suspect was in the hallway. I also confirmed that there's no possible route of escape from lobby number 2. Therefore, the killer must, without doubt, be Detective Gumshoe.
And that's all you have?
Yeah, that's all there is to my conclusion in this case.
Sorry, but I beg to differ. In a trial, there's always time for a rebuttal. And we are standing in a court of law. It'd be more than appropriate to follow the rules of court in this case, don't you think?
How absurd how absolutely like a rookie to think such a thing. But alright, I'll play along and give you a proper testimony.
My logic is correct, and I've already won. All I have to do now is to prove it by showing who the real killer is. Yeah, this may very well be the big one. So, let's see.
Everyone sounds the suspect has an alibi for when the gun went off. Furthermore, the areas around the crime scene have all been thoroughly investigated, right? I've also confirmed that there's no possible escape route from lobby number 2. Which leaves us with one unshakable conclusion, that Detective Gumshoe is the killer. Now that you have your testimony, I expect a good rebuttal, Mr. Edgeworth. What's this? Yeah. But of course, there's no need to confront her logic head-on right now. You shouldn't instead focus on drawing out any trump cards she has up her sleeve. So, let's see if we can squeeze her a bit more by pressing everything, and then we can see on where we can just slice open this thing with a few bits and pieces of evidence. Everyone sounds a suspect has an alibi for when the gun went off.
Hold it!
A suspect? But I thought that Detective Gumshoe's alibi has already been proven. Are you joking, Edgeworth? I assure you, this is no joke. Look, I know you heard from the judge earlier that a detective was in the hallway with Mr. Faraday's daughter eating a Swiss roll. Yes, that is correct. But see, that was 20 minutes before the real gunshot went off, right? And the problem is, there's no one else who can corroborate what you here did since the snacking. I see she's done her research. Research. Which means that I should focus on drawing out whatever trump card she has withholding. Furthermore, the areas around the crime scene have been thoroughly investigated, right?
Hold it!
Let's go deeper into that. Whether they have been thoroughly investigated or not is for me to decide. The scrunched eyebrows and lines on your forehead are back. Anyway, even if you believe it has been exhaustive, the crime scene, lobby number 2, has no way out other than the hallway Detective Gumshoe was standing in. And because he claimed to be there, that makes him the only plausible suspect. Possible, not plausible, but both fit. So, yeah. But isn't it also possible that someone escaped through a window and ran into the garden? That's the first place everyone looked, silly. The police aren't a bunch of lazy bums. They looked into every possibility, you know. Isn't that right, Mr. Bat? Yeah. There wasn't a scrap of evidence to suggest someone used one of the windows. There also weren't any footprints or anything in the courtyard garden. Suppose they already checked everything that could be related to the case. One would assume, I guess, considering this is a courthouse. I also confirm there's no possible escape route from lobby number 2.
Hold it!
Are you absolutely positive that there are no possible routes of escape? Of course I'm sure. And why are you so certain? This is a courthouse, the place where criminals are brought to be judged. If there was an escape route, I'm sure every criminal would be using it to escape. It's just common sense. Miles Edgeworth, I suggest you use a bit more. You use a bit more of it in the future. Yeah. Which leaves us with one unshakable conclusion that Detective Gumshoe is the killer. You may think it's unshakable, but to me, there are still too many unanswered questions. For example, who was it that placed a gun in Mr. Faraday's head? But you're the only one who's still wondering that. Detective Gumshoe probably had no idea which hand Mr. Faraday used to write with. Even if you know someone, it doesn't mean you'll know which hand they write with, right? I mean, I certainly don't care about that sort of thing. Not about to let her get a rise out of me with such flippant statement. I suppose we've already reached the end for now. I already have my trump card ready. All that remains is to play it. But before I do, I think I should inquire into a little something about her argument. You said earlier that you confirmed the alibis of every person other than the suspect. I do recall that Francesca or myself speaking with you about the subject. But there were witnesses for you. There is your mentor who gave you an alibi. I see. As for little Missy, she came to the courthouse during the recess and was stopped by a security guard at the door to the hallway. She gave him quite a whipping for that, so I heard. I'm the daughter of Manfred von Karma, and I will not be forcibly stopped by a guard or a bailiff or anyone else. Wait, so basically the reason Francesca to show up today was because she found out that I was the one to be the replacement prosecutor. Huh. By the way, Miss Yu, what about everyone's alibis before Detective Gumshoe was assigned to the guard duty? What about them? Have you looked into what people were doing during that span of time? Well, your statements, so the noises I made were for something else. What kind of idiot do you think do you take me for? It doesn't matter when the killer went into lobby number 2. From the time we heard the gunshot to the time Mr. Bat and I arrived on the scene of we dashed over from lobby number 1. The only person who could have committed a crime was Detective Gumshoe. Yes, let's talk about when you and Detective Bat heard the gunshot shot, shall we? Suppose that, if we go by your logic, then Detective Gumshoe is the only one. However, what if the crime had occurred at an entirely different time than when that gunshot you heard went off? What then? That gunshot was a trap meant to manipulate our... Sadly, your explanation is very lacking, Edgeworth. The gunshot we heard in lobby number 1. Care to explain how that could have been fabricated? Okay, I do not have any form of television evidence, so it has to be the surveillance video. Or that surveillance video.
Take that!
That tape? Yes, exactly. Yes, it's exactly what you think it is. This is the surveillance tape of Mr. Rell, the prosecution presented in today's trial. This was found loaded in, in the video player in lobby number 2. That was connected to the large television that had its volume turned all the way up. You can't honestly mean that the sound we heard was a gunshot in this video. But I do. Which leads me to my next point. The murders occurred much earlier than when anyone heard the gunshot. So, she is nervously applying makeup. I guess that's a tell I have now.
That's the only that's the only thing I can think of too. After committing double homicide, the killer took the surveillance video out from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag, turned the television's volume all the way up, and left the video to play. If played from the beginning, it would take 30 minutes for the gunshot sound to come on. And since we know that this method of time manipulation is possible, it opens up the possibility that the killer is someone other than Detective Gumshoe. Sounds from a television doesn't amount to much here. But of course, Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth and little Miss Von Karma already knew that much from the very beginning, right? Of course we knew, didn't we, Miles? Yes, of course. We know about the soundproof quality of his courthouse's rooms. Of course, I'm not about to admit that we had no idea until only a little while ago. That's right. And if the rooms are soundproof, then we should not have been able to hear it. And yet, we heard the gunshot clear as day. And? That's it. End of story. But it's not. Should I explain why she was able to hear a gunshot from a soundproof room? Well, the windows, of course. There is actually one common point between lobbies number 1 and 2. That is that despite the fact that both rooms have air conditioners installed, a window was opened in each. Now we know that the windows in lobby number 2 was opened by the killer. However, a window in lobby number 1 was also opened. It's probably just coincidence that they were both open at the same time. It was no mere coincidence, I assure you. Now, the window in lobby number 1. The answer is that a certain person did something to cause the window to be opened. And the person who triggered that action, that person is the real guilty party. Yeah, her. Either her or Mr. Bat, but it was Miss Yu who, spilled a rather lot of her perfume. I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. It was her expensive perfume that was spilled.
Take that!
Miss Callisto Yu, I hereby formally indict you of a murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rao. What? You indict me? Are you serious, Miles? Why do you think she is the killer? I don't understand her motives just yet, but of course I'm serious. Because she is the only one who could have done it. Well, monsieur, do you still feel like laughing now? Of course I do, Miss Edgeworth. My argument must not be tight enough yet. Although, I never thought things would spiral into this. But I'll have you know, I'm enjoying this dance quite a bit. I guess this means it's time for my own rebuttal now, right? Miss Yu's rebuttal. You argue that a window was opened, however, do you have proof it was I who did it? Furthermore, do you have proof that the tape was used in committing the crime? Frankly, I'm shocked at you for going around accusing people of murder like this, especially with logic as full of holes as yours. This is where it really starts. I mustn't let my guard down for even a second, or
the truth will be blown away. Now's the time to put the patented von Karma perfect proof to the test. Patented. Misuse rebuttal. You argue that your window was opened. However, do you have proof it was I who did it?
Hold it.
Technically, she wasn't it. Evidence. All I need to do is have some prints analyzed, and we'd know straight away. Be my guest. She sounds as though she has the room to maneuver, which means even if we were able to lift prints, they'd only show that it was someone else. But why that someone else was forced to open the window? That's simple logic. Why don't I try presenting that piece of evidence? I have nothing to lose. What's wrong? The scrunched eyebrows, lines on your forehead, they are all back. More importantly, are you going to be okay not running if... Oh, what's that? Oh. Are you going to be okay not running a fingerprint analysis? Certainly not, no need to do that. I mean, Detective Bat literally said he was the one to open the window. And he had good reason to do so. Yes, I'll be fine. Oh, well, in that case, I'll just continue with my testimony, alright? Furthermore, do you have proof that the tape was used in committing the crime? I thought I just proved that it was. Sure, you proved that the tape was there at the scene of the crime. However, that doesn't prove it was actually used in said crime. Unfortunately for you, monsieur. The fact that the tape was there at the crime scene is in itself very important. How so? By the very existence of the tape at the crime scene, it proves the possibility that the when of the crime could have been fabricated. And that possibility alone renders all alibis and witness reports irrelevant. Basically, it means that we will need to re-examine every person's movements again. Whether the tape was used in the crime or not, that we can re-evaluate afterwards. So in conclusion, you're admitting that you can't prove that it was at the point. Frankly, I'm shocked that you're going around accusing people of murder like this. Even if you're shocked, that is of no concern to me. I do things my own way. Oh. I see that you're not laughing for a change. Because I'm shocked. Again, you being shocked is of no concern to me. Let us continue with the testimony. Alright, but let me say just one thing. You shouldn't go around accusing people. Especially with logic as full of holes as yours. Full of holes? Well, I suppose it may be. Oh, admitting to your faults now, are we? At this point in time, is what I meant to say. Should I take that to mean that you just saw a loser? No matter how full of holes my logic may be right now, if I pluck them one at a time, I will ultimately make my way to the truth. What a paradox! Take care to not fall into one of those holes before you fill it up. Yeah. Miles, you remember, don't you? About why a window in lobby number 2 was opened? Yes, of course I do. And that's how I'll attack. I'll present the reason why the window had been opened. So, No, I don't have. I needed to press it in order to ascertain that it's the right point, but I don't have any form of proof that she has been that she has been the one to open it. But well, I do know of her perfume since she gifted some to Mr. Bat, and he confirmed that this type was spilled in lobby number 1, and that it did produce quite an overwhelming stench in it.
Objection!
I'm sure you've seen this before, haven't you, Miss Yu? Ah, Edgeworth, I never knew you were into wearing that kind of perfume. It's not exactly what I'd recommend for boys, you know. Uh, This isn't mine. That's right, it's mine, and I received it from Detective Bat, you see. Miss Yu, Miss Yu, you can pretend all you like, but we know at least this much is for sure. That you are the one who gave his bottle of perfume to Detective Bat. And that you are super easy to rile up. So, what about your perfume? While you were in lobby number 1, you made a big show of spilling some of this perfume. That's according to Detective Bat. Oh, I know. You also knew that if you spilled it, you would naturally move to open a window.
Objection!
Come now, I've already told you that's all just big coincidence. After we opened the window in lobby number 1, I just left it open, you know. So maybe it was just dumb luck that we heard the gunshot through the window.
Objection!
The timing of when the timing of when you were going to spill the perfume is something you could control. And the most important fact about this case is when people were made to hear the shot. Furthermore, it would have been pointless if you didn't have an alibi for yourself at the time. You mean? Yes, Miss Yu, you were the one who called Detective Bat into lobby number 1. When you saw him bring Detective Gumshoe into the hallway. Is that correct? All of today, premeditated events could only have been thought up by you, Miss Yu. Once again, my throat feels dry. Maybe I should have made myself a tea with honey. Also, do not use honey. I mean that app edition. It's not. It's neither worth it nor good for you. You accuse me of murder on the fact that I spilled a little perfume. Well, allow me to say this much. I couldn't have killed Mr. Faraday. Would you care to testify as to why? Look, I've had a lot of fun today, really. But I grew wary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last let's make this the last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. Why it couldn't be me. Accusing someone of murder of a built bottle of perfume is a bit over the top. But I suppose forgery of evidence is to be expected of a disciple of von Karma. In any case, it simply could not have been me who killed Mr. Faraday. After all, I didn't even know where the knife that was used to kill him came from. That's her testimony. It's flawless. Yes, but no matter what sort of trick she may... Yes, but no matter what sort of trick she may try to pull, she won't escape me. And if I'm lacking information, I'll just draw it out of her. Accusing someone of murder over a spilled bottle of perfume is a bit over the top. I think I already explained the significance of that earlier. You only confirmed that I did spill some perfume. But that's all. That you would accuse me of murder based on a simple spill. Don't you dare complain when I sue you for defamation of character. Do as you like, but as for me, I believe. You believe? I believe that you're the true culprit in this case. My, you are enthusiastic. Of course I should have guessed. But I suppose forgery is forgery of evidence is to be expected of a disciple of von Karma. I formally request that you desist in your attack against my mentor. Fuck off, fly. Yes, or we'll sue you for defamation. All I'm doing is telling the truth. Well, may be more like spreading gossip. Although your adamant denials are, shall we say, just adding fuel to the fire. Oh, how dare you! Say such a thing! Calm down, little girl. Don't let her get to you. Why did you have to ruin my fun? Well, shall I continue? In any case, it simply could not have been me who killed Mr. Faraday. And why exactly could it not have been you who killed him? I was just about to testify to that. You're such an impatient man. I'm not really into that, you know, Edgeworth. Your preferences have no bearing on what is at hand. Feeling a little uncomfortable, are we? Monsieur, you will desist in this testimony and return to... you will desist in this tomfoolery and return to your testimony. And Miles, if you're going to lose your cool, then I won't show you any mercy. I'm sorry. Monsieur, please continue your testimony. Sure. As I was saying, I couldn't have possibly killed Mr. Faraday. After all, I don't even know where the knife that was used to kill him came from. Also, I accidentally clicked to continue instead of pressing. However, there could be additional data on this, so I need to press it. Nope, the other button. At this rate, she will inevitably escape. But if she really was the one who killed Mr. Faraday, then she must have known about the existence of the knife. I'm sorry, monsieur. Maybe you weren't aware. However, the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday was taken from his evidence bag. Miles, what do you think you're doing? I'm drawing the truth out of her. That's what I'm doing. But I don't recall a knife being presented at the trial earlier today. Well, I suppose that's because the evidence was something Mr. Faraday had yet to use. So, that's what you're trying to do. Look, why don't you cut it out with the lies? I've already figured you out. There was no knife inside Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. The only evidence he had yet to present was the key the Yatagarasu had sent. And unless a key can magically turn into a knife, you really don't have a leg to stand on. You really think you could trap me? Come now, be honest. I never intended to do such a thing. It was all a misunderstanding on my part. In any case, I wonder if you may append what you just said to your testimony. Sure, why not? I'll even say it as many times as you'd like. There was a key in the evidence bag, but you can't kill anyone with a simple key. Well, that's not quite true. With enough gusto, a simple key can very well inflict wounds, and it doesn't need a long blade if you hit someone in the right position. True be told, hit in the chest is, that is a lot more shallow. However, you only need 3 to 5 centimeters of, let's call it, blade length, in order to inflict a fatal wound if you hit the right spot. Once again, press this here. Monsieur, I would like to confirm something with you one more time. Oh, about what's going to happen to Detective Gumshoe after this? I don't need to ask you about that, because he is not the killer. Looks like the number of wrinkles on your forehead have increased yet again. Dish to your side, monsieur. I'd like to ask you about what's inside the bag. You're sure it was the Yatagarasu key, correct? Yes, I'm sure. Just so I am completely baffled as to where that knife could have come from. You've just spotted a road to a perfect victory. Finally, it would appear that you have revealed your true identity, monsieur. Miles, her final statement. Yes, I know. All I have to do now is present the evidence. But what is this ominous feeling that I can't shake? Wait, is there something in addition? Well, yes, I also believe there's a lot more to it, but she is among those few who have had more direct access. She's among the few that had more direct access to the, well, to the evidence in detail, so we have the photo of the key here. And we have had the knife, which can be turned. Click. It does not change, so at the very least I will not need to have presented it in that configuration. With such games, you never know if you need to have it in the right configuration in order to have anything to do with it. However, it appears there is nothing more to it. So I present the knife itself. Monsieur, I wonder if you may, if you might take a look at this photo for me. This is a picture of the key the Yatagarasu sent to the police. However, while it may look like a key at first glance, it in fact has a secret ability to transform into a knife, which means that what was inside Mr. Faraday's bag was both the Yatagarasu key and the murderer's knife. You knew that a key was inside Mr. Faraday's bag, did you not? Yes. Well, with the Yatagarasu key alone, it's more than possible to kill Mr. Faraday. Yeah. You understand now. Just knowing of... Well, sadly I had no evidence to properly present the fact that she knew about how the key could transform. So it could not have been the end of it. I still haven't had a good look at it. Showing showing it to me from that far away, you could be lying for all I know. You would even now still feign ignorance. I'm not feigning anything. But we can't have you accusing me of crime with false evidence now, can we? I mean, Mr. von Karma, I've heard some very interesting rumors about him. Are you mocking my papa? Don't you dare sully the good name of my mentor. Now take a good look. This piece of evidence is more than real. Wow, who knew there was such a trick to this thing? We'll set it aside now. But of course you knew from the very beginning, didn't you? You knew that the knife and the Yatagarasu key are one and the same. Otherwise, someone like you who isn't a member of law enforcement and who would never have been privy to the trick would have never known about it to begin with. Furthermore, with something that Yatagarasu sent to the police, how did you have knowledge as to what it was? Actually, I heard it from Mr. Faraday. Just before he dragged Mr. Rell off, he told me. Ah, that's right, I almost forgot. He also told me about the key turning into a knife at that time. But he didn't tell me about how the key actually transforms. What you are saying is simply not possible. Oh, and why not? Because Mr. Faraday himself didn't know about the hidden knife within the key. For within these pages, he mentions nothing about a knife. I'm not sure he would have written everything in his organizer, you know. Wouldn't something of this importance be better left to oral communication? Unfortunately, that is also impossible, because Detective Bat didn't know about the knife aspect either. What would have been highly classified information even within the police force. It is something that the elite detective on the case didn't know. Why would Mr. Faraday have felt the need to share such information with his opposition? Yeah, I guess he wouldn't have had much of a reason to. Looks like I gave a pretty lame excuse, huh? How can you laugh at a time like this? She probably just realized the flaw in her logic and is actually in a panic of it. But that's not something we need to concern ourselves with. I suppose you're right. Monsieur, I'd like to state that I also know how. What? Wait. I somehow managed to confuse myself in one sentence. Hooray! I'd like to state that I also know how you know the real nature of his knife. Do you know? Well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and show me? Oh, I will. And I'll wipe that smile off your face by the time we're through. This is it, the moment of truth. The secret behind the Yatagrasu's key. Only one person would have had knowledge of it from the get-go. Well, who would know from the start that the Yatagrasu's key could transform into a knife? Well, of course, the Yatagarasu himself would know. Let's see if is there anyone else. Well, Bern Faraday, of course, wouldn't have known. Manny Koshin wouldn't really exactly know. Detective Bat said he didn't know. Macrell didn't know. Well, the big butting irony is that the only person that would have absolutely known about it is the Yatagarasu themselves. So, by that metric, I may have to accuse her of being the Yatagarasu, so she has either to accept it or defend herself against it. Which by itself is a rather weak statement, but well, it's more plausible than accusing any of the other persons.
Take that!
There's only one person who would have known about the dual nature of the key. And that is... and that's the person who sent the Yatagarasu key to the police. That is to say, the Yatagarasu herself. Oop. I just hit my mic, sorry. Are you saying that this lawyer is the great thief Yatagarasu? Monsieur. You used Mr. L to lure Mr. Faraday into a trap, didn't you? You who profess to bear a grudge against criminals, why? Why do something like this? Would have thought that you, a stupid rookie prosecutor, would see through me. You're sending the biggest chill down my spine right now, Edgeworth. This feeling of thrill is even greater than when I sneak into some place. You killed Faraday? Why? Answer me, Callisto, you. Callisto, you, huh? That's not my real name. Because my real identity is, yes, the great thief Yatagarasu. Let me tell you something, Edgeworth. Mr. Faraday was one difficult man to deal with. For you see, he had discovered my true identity, which is why I had to erase him from the world of law. I made Rel an offer, an acquittal for a little favor in return. All he had to do was accuse Mr. Faraday of being the Yatagarasu in court. But once we entered the recess, Rel was dragged off by Mr. Faraday, which threw my plans into a complete mess. I chased after them and eavesdropped on them through a crack in the door. That Rel caves to only two things: money and authority, just as all fucks do. I feared my plan was going to be ruined by if Mr. Faraday held onto Rel any longer. Plus, if I had let them continue on the way they were, I would have been found out. That's why I had no choice. I had to kill them both. Didn't you say that you despise criminals? But do I really? You. Have you forgotten about the KG-8 incident too? Maybe. What sort of woman would... So then, was it your plan to kill Mr. Faraday with the very evidence that you sent? Well, I had a good idea of what Mr. Faraday was going to do. I anticipated that Mr. Faraday was going to prove that Rel wasn't the Yatagarasu by using the Yatagarasu key as evidence, and that he would bring it with him. Which is why I thought to use the knife portion. With a weapon as well disguised as this, no one would be the wiser. Because who in their right mind would think something like this could be a weapon? Casually entered lobby 2 on the pretext that I had to talk with Mr. Faraday. In order to get in with him, I pretended to worry about something. He then let me hold the Yatagarasu key just like that. He never noticed that I had changed the key into a knife inside the plastic bag. And he didn't have a chance to take note of the knife that took his life. How could you kill him? I knew him for a long time, you know. At the very least, I thought to give him a quick and painless death. But if you killed Mr. Faraday first, there was no need for you to kill Mr. Rel as well. I believe I mentioned why when we were placing Detective Gumshoe under arrest. Something about having accidentally created an eyewitness. And how that led to led the killer to think about setting them up as though they killed each other. And a trick with the surveillance tape. Yes, I hadn't actually planned to use the gun. The risk was too high. The risk was too high that I'd be caught. However, that's when I remembered the existence of that surveillance tape. Which is why I had Rel help me set up the crime scene. And after that, after all that was said and done, I rewarded him for all his work with a bullet. Sorry. Hopefully that's better. And I definitely need to do something about those flies in my room. You're a defense attorney, aren't you? How could you? How could you betray a client? Client? If you want to talk about who was a client of who's first, it was me. I was a client in the murder of the Cordopian embassy staff member, Date Man. You ordered a hit job. You still haven't figured it out, Mr. Brad. I had Date Man killed because he was about to give away info about the smuggling ring. Now, who exactly do you think would benefit from such an assassination? It can't be. You're... That's right. I'm a member of the smuggling ring.
What?
How could this?
You don't mean you're working with Manikoshin too, do you?
Maybe, maybe not. Guess you'll never know. Yatagrasu claims to be noble, but you're just another cold-blooded murderer. That's right, little girl. The Yatagrasu's just another killer.
Be quiet, you. Yatagrasu. You can run from the law, but you'll never escape it. So, just humbly accept the judgment of this court.
Hey, Edgeworth. Did you know the Yatagrasu has 3 legs? Do you know why that is? No? Well, let me tell you. It means that the Yatagrasu has more than one razor-sharp way to do her work. You really are too naive, Edgeworth. You even handed the Yatagrasu key right to me without a second thought. Everything may not have gone according to plan, but I'm still gladly take it.
You mean he was your real target?
And even after I gave you such great advice, didn't I tell you to always keep a good eye on a criminal? Now you may regret what comes of your negligence.
You two, get down!
Yeah.
My body, I can't move.
Hey, mister, to your right.
Huh? You. Are you right, Francesca?
I'm perfectly fine, Miles.
The voice is shaking. It looks like she's unharmed. Where did Kay go? That's a gunshot.
Also, that gun she used was a double-barreled gun. No internal magazine to speak of, so she she should have had exactly 2 bullets, both now fired. She could of course reload it if she has any spares, but that is, well, considering the circumstances she's currently in, that's unlikely. September 10th, 7 on the dot p.m. District Court, courtroom number 3.
Sorry, but it looks like she got away. I called the precinct. They should have a perimeter set up soon. Detective Bat, are you alright? I heard a gunshot. I'm okay. Just got another hole in my jacket. You may say he's fine, but he looks quite shaken. And more importantly, boy, I mean, Mr. Edgeworth, Miss von Karma, are you too hurt?
I'm absolutely fine.
I'm also alright, thanks to Kay. Speaking of Kay, where is she?
I don't know. She just sort of disappeared.
I'll go look for her. Oh, and... Hey, Detective Gumshoe.
Yes, sir. Detective Bat, sir.
I'm sorry if I doubted you.
Don't worry, sir. It's not your fault. I like to be a guys too, after all. I heard about what happened from Kay. Lying while giving testimony is still unforgivable. But in this case, you are protecting Kay and her feelings. Looks like you just may have what it takes to be a real detective. It's a ping! Go you and all of that. Now, don't you ever lose that detective spirit, okay? You got it, Pops. Pops. Watched one too many detective dramas recently, have we? Way to single-handedly destroy the cheery atmosphere with one snarky comment. I should get back to the investigation. I swear I'll catch you if it's the last thing I do. Be careful, Detective Bat, and take care. Thanks. Well, I'm off. Maybe we'll run into each other again sometime. Thanks a bunch, pal. You're the best. You really did find out the truth behind everything. Yes, well, I'm glad I solved everything before you were taken to prison. I can't believe how much trouble I caused you with my testimony, Detective Gumshoe. It was no problem, really. I mean, I lied too, so I didn't have anything. Really not your fault, Your Honor. Well, even if we didn't have His Honor's testimony, I think that lawyer would have found another way to get you convicted on her behalf. Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe I was about to get fired during my first week as a detective. Well, so long as you're not fired, you should work hard, give it all that you have, and perform your duties well. Oh, and one more thing. Kay left a present for you with me. She did? Oh, what is it? What was it Kay left for me, the proof of their friendship? Well, it was that Swiss roll.
Take that!
It's a courthouse special Swiss roll. Can I really have it? Yes, it's a present meant for you after all. Oh, thanks a bunch. You have no idea how happy this makes me, pal. I've got to eat this right now. Sure, go ahead. The Swiss rolls Detective Gumshoe and Kay bought together. Well, the one Kay saved never reached her father. It would appear that her sentiments have touched the heart of this detective. He's so happy. It's as though he's having a welcome back celebration of his own. Well, I was asked by Kay to give it to him. Oh, whoa, that was good, pal. I can't believe I got to eat 2 of these delicious things in one day. It's like I'm in Swiss roll paradise or something. I've got to thank Kay myself. Hey, wait, where is she? He only noticed just now. Was his mind not present when we discussed her earlier? Detective Bat left to go search for her earlier. Maybe you should go join him. Yeah, you betcha, pal. I'm gonna go help him. Oh, but first. You know what, pal? Actually, I guess I shouldn't be so rude to you now anymore. Huh? I'm gonna stick right by your side from now on, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I sense nothing but the most troublesome relationship from that ominous statement. We should go home too, Miles. We have to hurry and report what happened to Papa. Agreed. Well, I'm afraid we must be going now, Detective. Roger, sir. And don't you worry, I'll investigate the next case we're on real well. I'll be counting on you. Scent of trouble is definitely in the air. Thus, like a bad dream, my first outing at court came to a disturbing end. A few months later, I was finally able to properly stand in court as a prosecutor. But the detective in charge of the investigation was, as I dreaded, Detective Gumshoe. After that, he became my direct subordinate. I've tried, but words fail to describe the immeasurable suffering he has caused me. But I suppose that's just how things are. As for the little girl who suddenly disappeared, she's now... So, do you remember me? Do you remember now? Yes, I remember everything. Okay, it's been a while. Okay, you sure grow up a lot. Of course. But thank goodness. I thought you two had totally forgotten about me. You know, I was really worried about you after all that. Where have you been all this time? Gummy, Gummy, I didn't know you cared. After my father died, I went to go live with my mother's relatives. They lived really far away, so I wasn't really able to come back here at... They lived really far away, so I wasn't really able to come back here all that much. Oh, is that what happened? Well, I'm just glad you're alright. So does it all make no sense now? You betcha it does. Oh, you know what? I was going through my father's bookshelves recently and... Actually, there's still a number of things that don't make sense, Kay. Huh? First of all, why did you come all this way to see me? And second, why are you calling yourself the Yatagarasu? The Yatagarasu is close to you, the woman who killed your father. No, you're wrong. The real Yatagarasu was my father. Huh? Mr. Faraday was the Yatagarasu. Like I said, I was going through my father's bookshelves recently, and I found a secret diary hidden among his books. I've no regrets in choosing to walk the path of the Yatagarasu. That was written in his diary, and that's how I know for sure. Yeah, but that's impossible. What's with that look? You don't believe me. It wasn't just the expression on my face. I clearly said it was impossible just now. Alright then, how do you explain this? It's a way of disarming any security scene. Any security system of the user's choosing. Yep, that's a little thief. Truth be told, this is the Yatagarasu's greatest secret. And this little gizmo was used by my father. Wow! Mr. Faraday wasn't just a great prosecutor, he was a really great thief, huh? Yeah, my father worked really hard to steal the truth. But he was killed and Yatagarasu was no more. But despite that, the Yatagarasu has been spotted again recently. Someone other than you. Here, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a look at this article. Yatagarasu sends card to embassy. Yatagarasu sent the embassy a calling card. Yeah, meaning this person's a fake. I'm almost certain that Callisto ladies behind this. Well, there's also the option that there are more ravens among the populace than, well, anyone would have thought. And both you and Faraday were those. It would explain the 3 legs, to be honest, if there was, well, 3 Yatagarasu. Because the real Yatagarasu would never send something like a gaudy cat out. Well, yeah, the Yatagarasu never did warn anything. Didn't never warn anyone about anything. But the Yatagarasu did send a white card along with anything to be publicized. That's what Detective Bat told me 7 years ago, if memory serves. Well, as soon as I heard the news, I got all wound up. And I knew I couldn't just let it go. So I searched you out. So that I could obtain the truth behind the Yatagarasu. Because if anyone can help me find it, I figured it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. So you're saying that I have your father's and misuse identities backwards? Yes? Because the real Yatagarasu is noble to the end. And I want to revive the real, noble Yatagarasu. If I don't, my father will never be able to rest in peace. Gay.
Okay, you're so honorable. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'll always be here to cheer you on, pal.
Even if you're honorable, a thief is a thief. And if you're plotting to commit a crime, then I'm afraid I can't be complicit.
Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, you guys are not making it easy for me. Who am I supposed to support now?
Mr. Edgeworth, what I want from you is not to steal something. What I want is to the arrest of that evil woman.
That evil woman? You mean Callisto you?
I think it's too hard for me to catch her all by myself. But I thought that since you are able to expose her for who she is, then maybe. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, won't you help me?
Well, as far as we know, she, I mean, by that married Kay, is not yet a thief. In theory, until, well, as long as she uses her equipment in order to investigate, and not in order to steal, we have no reason to arrest her. After all, in that case, it is assistance of the police investigations and not, well, anything illicit. If she can keep to it, at least. Come to think of it, I do believe I owe you.
Huh? Owe me for what?
When Miss Yu made her escape, it was you who saved my life. Furthermore, you helped me with the investigation today. I'm not so rude as to leave favors unrepaid.
When you mean?
Yes. That case has been weighing down on my soul ever since that fateful day. Perhaps the time has come to settle things once and for all. If you don't intend to sully your hands in crime, then I believe I can help you.
Miss Edgeworth, thank you.
Yeah, Miss Edgeworth, sir. Is this great, Kate?
Yeah, it sure is, Gummy.
And though you had completely forgotten about her until just now. What is with their chummy relationship? Great thief Yatagarasu. After all that time, the true identity of the thief sank back into the darkness. John Faraday, Callisto Yu, and Kay Faraday. A phantasmagorical changing identity of the Yatagarasu. And the Yatagarasu's real goal would come to light the day after I made that promise to Kay. Surprising. Well, there's one thing for sure. This certainly is a lot faster compared to, well, standard Ace Attorney. Of course I want to save. Standard Ace Attorney is usually a rather, well, relatively slow burn. In most cases, Ace Attorney goes step by step over multiple days. This has barely been 2 days of the entirety of this, well, at maximum, this episode 5 here would be at worst the third day. So a single case in any regular Ace Attorney could span about the same time as this entire game. Well, on the other hand though, we certainly have a lot less in terms of, well, waiting times between sessions of anything related to a confrontation. However, well, I've been online for, well, about 4 hours. And honestly, that suits me rather well. So, for the moment, I guess I will end the stream here. I need to think. I guess I'll start tomorrow at about the same time, and I should probably, well, yeah, I guess if I start about the same time, maybe earlier, maybe later, but maybe I should put that time into my schedule. Would mean that I would stream start probably around between 4 to 5 p.m. at my local time, which is GMT +2, by the way. And then for about 4 hours, well, unless I want to make a break of some sort, it could be a good time. But for now, well, tomorrow I will continue. Probably, considering I am curious as hell, with the next episode, which would be episode 5, Turnabout Ablaze. Last one, it seems, for, well, Ace Attorney Miles Edgeworth. And after that, I can decide if I want to continue on with the continuation. After all, I believe this is the last from the first game, or if not. But in all cases, for now, I wish you all a good day. Have a good one until the next episode. I hope I can get a bit of a swing in my talking. Should be entertaining after all. Well, in any way, have a nice day.